Very good morning, students. Welcome to our today's session. So, in our previous sessions, we had seen what is CAPM model, right? So, arbitrage model is also somewhat based on the same thing, CAPM approach. What does your CAPM formula say? It says RF plus beta into RM minus RF, correct? Please keep this formula in mind. We'll be using the same formula throughout this. I'll give you a brief explanation as to how exactly does it work with arbitrage pricing theory or arbitrage pricing model. What is arbitrage? First, let's try to understand what is the meaning of the term arbitrage. Arbitrage is a process of earning profit by taking advantage of differential pricing for the same asset. All right, to keep things very simple, I'll give you one example. Imagine there are two markets, two vegetable markets or two vegetable vendors, right? So you purchase 1 kg of onion from the seller A at rupees 50 rupees. Okay, you purchase 1 kg of onion from vendor A at 50 rupees. However, vendor B is selling the same onion, same quality of onion at 55 rupees. So what you can do is that this there will be slight differential pricing in any market. There will be slight differential pricing. Differential pricing is that two different prices for the same quality of goods. So what you will do is that you will purchase goods from vendor A at 50 rupees and sell it at 53 to vendor B, right? So here you are making profits by selling the purchasing and selling the same asset. Correct? This is what is meant by arbitrage. The process generates riskless profit, it's very riskless. For example, you are trading between National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange. You purchase shares and securities from Bombay Stock Exchange and sell it at National Stock Exchange, right? This process has a very minimal risk, but also the returns will be slightly less because you cannot expect huge amount of difference between the prices. Okay, all right. So I'll just give you 10 seconds of time. Please go through this slide. All right, let's move on to the next slide. What are the assumptions of arbitrage pricing model? Investors have homogeneous expectations, that is, everybody tries to make profits and minimize the risk. Investors are risk averse and utility maximizers. Whatever is given, they want to utilize the maximum benefits out of it. Correct? That will be their mentality. And what do you mean by risk averse? They don't want to take any risk. They want to minimize the risk. Correct? I think minimizing the risk is the right word. Okay. Perfect competition prevails in the market and there is no transaction cost. All right. These assumptions, please make notes. And what I suggest is that for every model, you write the model, meaning of the model, formulas, assumptions, and keep it ready. It becomes handy during your exams. Arbitrage portfolio. According to the APT model, an investor tries to find out the possibility to increase returns from his portfolio without increasing the funds in the portfolio. Alright, now I have a portfolio. Correct? I have bought 5 stocks. Stock A, B, C, D, E. So, this portfolio I want to retain. However, the prices of my portfolio which I purchased was pretty low. Right? For example, if TVS shares are trading at 102 rupees in Bombay Stock Exchange and I've bought it. However, in National Stock Exchange it is trading at 110 rupees. Right? I would prefer to sell these shares to National Stock Exchange so that the prices what I'll be getting will be a little high, correct? So I want to, without doing anything, without much of the efforts, but basically using the common sense, I would like to increase my returns. So this is what APT model tells you. He also likes to keep the risk at the same level, right? The risk remains the same. X indicates the proportion, change in proportion. So there is this formula, right? Factor sensitivity. Okay, let me explain factor sensitivity with one example. Okay, what is factor sensitivity? I mean, whenever you take an example of a particular business, right? Imagine there are two firms, firm A and firm B. Firm A is into the process works like this: from procuring raw materials to generating revenues, right? From procuring raw materials and paying your suppliers till receiving cash from your customers, it is completely Indian market based firm. They don't use anything from outside, right? Outside in the sense abroad. They don't procure raw materials from foreign, or they don't indulge in selling goods to a foreign country. It is particularly a very Indianized firm, where it's like the end-to-end process is basically for Indian market, right? They have this thing, and they are doing pretty well. All right. Coming to the firm B. Firm B is like they are actually producing goods and services here. However, they are selling their goods and services to a foreign country, right? They are selling it to US, or they are selling it to Japan, or whatever it is. They are selling it to different parts of the globe. So let us consider one factor. For example, forex market. There is something called as foreign exchange reserves, and the price of foreign exchange keeps fluctuating. The rupee against dollar value keeps on fluctuating, and this fluctuation will have a particular risk on my firm. Correct? I hope you guys are understanding this. This is one factor which can cause risk to my business. This forex risk is not present in firm A but is present in firm B. So if you closely analyze, there is this effect of risk on each of the firm will differ. There is difference. I mean, it's not like you can take the risk of foreign exchange reserve and calculate the risk of foreign exchange reserve and apply to both the firms. It doesn't work like that, because firm A is completely desi product and they are into Indian market only, and there is no need for forex risk. However, there is a need for relatively there is relatively higher risk of foreign exchange uh, rates on our firm B, because they are actually dealing with some other country, correct? So what I mean to say is that there might be certain factors which will have certain amount or certain degree of risk on a particular security. So this is what is meant by factor sensitivity. Sensitivity. In APT model, we try to analyze the sensitivity of each and every factor with the particular stock. So how does it work? It's like I initially told that the CAPM approach, correct? I mentioned something about CAPM approach. That is, what is the formula? RF plus beta into RM minus RF. RM minus RF is nothing but the risk premium, correct? It is the risk premium multiplied by beta, beta of your stock, correct? Beta of your stock is volatility of your stock to the market. How much is it varying? If market goes up by 1%, what is the corresponding change of that 1% increase in the market to my particular stock? This factor into RM minus RF. RM is market return, RF is risk-free rate of return. This factor we call it as risk premium. Risk premium multiplied by beta plus risk-free rate of return. This gives us the returns based on CAPM approach. However, in APT model, it is like you calculate betas for each and every factor. Correct? There we used to have a common beta. Correct? common beta with respect to the market, but here we identify factors that can affect the returns of the stock. Okay, let's read out the slide. The factor sensitivity indicates the responsiveness of a security's return to a particular factor, right? We need to identify various factors. It might be forex, it can be share market prices, or it can be gold price fluctuation in the market, or there can be political factors. There can be n number of macroeconomic factors which you would have studied in your economics. Each of those factors we need to calculate betas for each of the factors. Please remember this. The sensitiveness of the securities to any factor is the weighted average of sensitiveness of the securities. Right. Weights are the changes made in the proportion. For example, BA, BB, BC are the sensitivities in an arbitrage portfolio to the sensitivity becomes zero. Okay. They are telling that the proportions are the weights are the changes made in the proportion. There can be different proportions, right? Right. I'll just give you 10 seconds. Please go through this. Right. Okay. So this is what I was explaining to you people. The returns of the securities are influenced by number of macroeconomic factors. The returns of the securities depend on various factors. For each of the factors we need to calculate beta, that is volatility of my particular stock or security with that corresponding factor. For example, forex. How would forex have an impact on my stock? If forex increases, what would happen to my stock? If there is 1% increase or change in the forex market or forex risk, what is the corresponding effect on my particular stock, right? Like this, we need to identify n number of factors. The factors might be very much different. I mean, there might be various factors. We need to identify each of those factors and calculate beta for it. So, how was our CAPM model's formula? It was RF plus beta into RM minus RF, correct? So, let us consider RM minus RF as one particular RM minus RF as P, that is risk premium, right? Risk premium into beta plus RF, correct? Like this, you need to calculate risk premium 1 for factor 1, beta for factor 1, multiply that and add with RF. So, what I mean to say is that RF plus beta 1 into risk premium 1 plus beta 2 into risk premium 2, beta 3 into risk premium 3, beta 4 into risk premium 4, like this it will go on, right? So these factors, for each of the factors will have different risk premium, different beta. You need to multiply that and add it with RF. So in this slide I have given RF as L0. L1 is sensitivity of return to beta BI1. BI1 is the beta coefficient of relevant of particular factor, right? So one more thing I would like to mention here is that the APT model is basically in the books itself. You cannot practically implement it because the calculation of the risk and return for each and every factor is not very much feasible, right? You cannot calculate because there might be data constraints. You might not be able to gather all the data that is required for APT model. For example, beta 1, how would you calculate beta 1? Forex or any particular factor, risk factors changes. So you need to calculate the risk factor for quite number of years. How do you get the data? And then you calculate beta. So this process is quite tedious and it's not recommended or it's not practically possible to implement APT model. But however, for your academics purpose, you need to study this. So same thing, what I had discussed. L naught is nothing but risk-free rate of return. BI is the sensitivity related to factor, that is beta 1. Li is the slope of arbitrage pricing line or risk premium line. So in this slide I have given you all the differences. Please go through all the differences. First, it is simplest form of APT model is consistent with simple form of CAPM model. If you consider only one thing, it is as good as CAPM model. I mean one factor. APT is more general and less restrictive than CAPM, right? APT model takes into account of the impact of numerous factors of the on the security. Yes, numerous factors will be considered in case of APT model. The market portfolio is well defined conceptually. In APT model, factors are not well specified. Here in market portfolio, in CAPM, you just take the total of the, I mean, you consider the whole of the market, right? There is lack of consistency in measurements of APT model. Agreed. The influence of the factors are not independence of each factor. Right. So this is about your APT model. Please go through this and let me know if you have any doubts.